And welcome back to the experiment that is the Smart Mark Time Machine. We have gone back in time, quantum leaping into 1986, preventing Magnum T.A. from wrapping his car around a telephone pole and saving, we thought, wrestling itself. And the fallout has been catastrophic and fascinating. So first things off, the WWF, very shortly thereafter, made its way out of business. Soon followed, well, first we have Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, and a bunch of the big players jumped to the American Wrestling Association, and then we see them, too, go bankrupt and out of business. So no WWF, no AWA. The only game in town is the National Wrestling Alliance, represented primarily through three heads: Mid-South, World Class, and Jim Crockett Promotions. In Japan, we did see New Japan Pro Wrestling take up some of the Western headliners until New Japan went out of business with bankruptcy. And that leaves us with All Japan in the West. And it leaves us with the NWA as we know it. Eastern Championship Wrestling is beginning to rise. And there are some other small promotions starting to make waves, but that's the world in which we live now. A world where the NWA Big Gold Belt has been handed around a lot more frequently. Ric Flair doesn't become your de facto champion. Instead, we've seen names like Tully Blanchard, Jake Roberts, Jerry Lawler, Roddy Piper end up with reigns. We've seen Magnum T.A. end up with 3 world title reigns. The first one lasted about 2 weeks, the second 2 months, and the third, I believe, pretty close to 10 months, if memory serves. Before, maybe fittingly, the belt has made its way back home around the waist of the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. So we've seen some old hands who never got a shot at the big gold being rewarded with runs in this sim. But we've seen others, more sports entertainers, younger names as well. We've seen the Ultimate Warrior. We haven't seen, really, the Ultimate Warrior, Sting, Ted DiBiase, Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, all underwhelming to various degrees, but perhaps no one more so than the Blade Runners, the Ultimate Warrior, and Sting. We see Steve Austin is years behind his trajectory of where he should be right now. Will he make it? Where we are on a 3.5 year run? 3.5 year run, just under 3.5 years, between where we sit now, January 1st, 1995, and Steve Austin's coronation. With Austin, well, not even the King of the Ring, but his coronation as world champion. 3.5 years. I don't know if we're there. And so what we're going to do this episode is we're going to take a look at a world that begins for us here in 1995 with Hulk Hogan being the best wrestler in the world, the biggest drawing power put on the best matches, but has not had a sniff of the NWA world title. So a world where Ric Flair is the champion, Hulk Hogan is the best wrestler, Magnum T.A. and Roddy Piper are the other two of the 4 pillars, really, of the professional wrestling business. And we're going to run through from this episode, from January 1st, 1995 to January 1st, 1997. We're getting really close to the dawn of the Attitude Era. So, where do we sit? We are less than 3 years away from the Montreal Screwjob. How is this all going to pan out in this episode? What world-changing events are we going to witness? I don't know. I'm excited to get into it, but even more so, before we do that, we got to hit that intro. And we're back. Look at this. Already in July. The Great American Bash, 1995. Held in Northwest. I don't know what that means, held in Northwest. But it drew 22,000 fans in Northwest. And the feedback was Fantastic. Performance of the night, our boy Magnum T.A. So let's take a look and see what exactly happened at the Great American Bash, shall we? In the main event, Hogan and Magnum defeated Rick Rude and Michael Hayes in the match of the night. We can see there Ricky Steamboat defeated Tito Santana in a very good match. Some other highlights, we got Tully Blanchard defeating Sam Houston. And that's really about it. We got Starship Coyote, that's Scott Hall, ayo, in the winner of a 6-man tag match with Randy Savage. If I'm going to start doing the taglines for everyone, that might take a while. I don't know if I have it in me to do it. Ooh, no, I can't do a Savage. I was about to go for it. I can't do it. Let's take a look then. No Rick on this. Is Rick still, and by Rick, I do mean my close personal friend, Ric Flair, is he still NWA World's Heavyweight Champion? Let's have a look at this, shall we? So if I go to JCP, I got that JCP, yeah, you know me. Let's take a look here. We've got Ric Flair, and does not hold any titles. Rick 46 has dropped that belt. When did he drop it? Well, it's been sometime this year, so let's just take a look at this, and we'll do title matches only, and we'll see that I made way too big a deal out of this. Hulk Hogan defeated Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. He suckered me in, and Hogan must pose. Yeah, a lot of house shows. Hogan wouldn't, not defending the belt there. And is he also working the babyface side? If he is, I think that means that Hogan's not going to be, Hogan is working babyface. Honky tonk, man. Jeez. Has made his way to the NWA. That is a little bit sad. Yeah, he's hired by JCP, and that was in January of 94. So he's been here for a little bit. Let's take a look at Magnum, shall we? Magnum, yeah, white hot momentum. 10 years with the NWA, with Jim Crockett Promotions. Not quite there. Lots to go for, but isn't that guy. If we take a look really quickly at some of the titles, we'll see that Dynamite Kid is the NWA United States Heavyweight Champion. The World 6-Man Tag Team, we have it there. It's Savage, Maeda, and Vercetti. We've got Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert on the tag team titles. 5-time champions. Look at that. And then the World Television Championship. Hey, yo. Scott Hall. Starship Coyote. Let's look at, we'll do some Mid-South. We see here about the North American title, He-Man. Let's just pretend we live in a world where there's a guy who just ripped off the He-Man gimmick, and Marvel's not suing for some reason. So He-Man is the North American champion. I will get rid of him for future Sims. The World Tag Team Champs, Jim Duggan and Matt Bourne. Doink the Clown and Hacksaw looking much more legitimate than they did in WWF. Let's put it that way. And the television champion is Kamala. If we look at world class, we can see that they're ranked 4th in the world. One-man gangs, the heavyweight champion, the American heavyweight. Condrey and Eaton are 13-time tag team champions, adding to the list that we discovered last episode. We've got Steve Armstrong as the Texas Brass Knucks. The Texas heavyweight is Kendall Windham. Television champion Jimmy Golden, and the 6-man tag is as you see it there. And let's just do a quick check-in on Eastern Championship Wrestling. What do we have here? We got Pat Patterson. Is he wrestling? He says major star. Is he really wrestling? In 1990, handshake deal, ECW. Oh, he's a booker. He's the booker. Pat Patterson is the booker of ECW. Wow. Not Paul Heyman, but Pat Patterson. That is a different situation. Cactus Jack, doing all right for himself. Moving on up the roster here. Starting to get a little bit of notoriety in the tri-state area in New England. Let's have a look at the titles here, shall we? We've got James Jefferson as the champ, the tag team champs, Mulkey and Crockett, and the television champion, Rick McGraw. Not lighting the world on fire just there. All Japan super quick. Any names that... Oh, Davey Boy Smith and Owen Harder over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see whatever titles are at here. They're the number 3 company in the world. Moscow de Merced is the junior heavyweight champion. The tag champs, Ken Wayne and Steve-O. I think I was hoping for Owen and Davey Boy. And then we've got the international heavyweight champion is Masanobu Kurisu. So there's where we're at. So we're going to jump ahead now to Starrcade, and we'll see, is Hogan going to... Oh, I spoke too soon, didn't I? He got me. He totally got me, and I totally fell for it, brother. So let's see what Starrcade brings to us. And now we're at Starrcade. 18,000 fans in St. Louis. More specific location than Northwest. Drew 18,000 fans, and the performance of the night belonged to Magnum T.A, who defeated Michael Hayes by DQ in the semi-main. Piper and Hogan defeated Santana and Ricky Steamboat in the main event. No NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. It could very much be that Hogan still has this. Stan Hansen defeated Starship Coyote by DQ in a match that was for the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship. Anything else? Savage defeats Steve Armstrong in a really lackluster match. That's really it as far as the sort of the big names go. Let's take a look. Pole victory for Randy Savage. Why not check that out? Best overall worker in wrestling today, Randy Savage. So maybe he'll actually get a very late in his career run with the big gold belt. We'll see. In this sim, he never made it to WWF. Wasn't around for WrestleMania 4. Savage isn't really even a player in WWF when it folds. So this is his much later run towards the top. He's 43 here. Popularity's getting up there. All of his worker stuff is fine, but yeah, let's take a look. Actually, I should have just gone from there. Let's take a look at Hulk Hogan. Is he still and he is still NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Let's take a look. 1994, 95, they were pushing him to the moon in WCW as well. So let's take a look. So Hogan's got about, I don't know, what, like 6, 7, 8 months? When's Bash at the Beach? June? So he's got 6 months until he's the third man in the prime timeline. In this alternate timeline, who knows? But he's dominating WCW, very similar to what was going on in the prime timeline. Let's take a look at who he's been having some title matches with, shall we? Has he been defending that belt fairly often? And the answer to that is not really. He defeated Magnum for the belt, and that was on a house show in November. He defeated Randy Savage in a cage. Okay, so maybe a little bit more a little while ago. If we go only title matches and go yes, we can see. Okay, yeah, he's not the most. Gino Hernandez, Roddy Piper, Tony Gurria. The scary part is some of these people could end up with the belt. Tito Santana in 1995, almost 1996. So there is that. Let's jump ahead. We'll look at the PWI for 1996. We'll see who wins all the awards and all that fun stuff. It's January 1st, 1996, and stop us if you've heard it before, brother. Wrestler of the Year for the calendar year that was the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. Was he immortal in WCW? I don't think he was. So the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. Let's take a look at some of the other awards, shall we? Company of the Year. That would be JCP. Team of the Year. Fargo's Fabulous Ones. The third time Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert have had that. Match of the Year. Hogan over Santana in a house show. Show of the Year. The Great American Bash, where I think it was Hogan and Magnum over Piper and I forget the other one. But yeah, in the main event, Young Wrestler of the Year, we've got Kentaro Shiga, someone I've never heard of. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, woo! I'm never going to retire. That's not Ric Flair. Who's that? That was almost like a Mr. T thing there. Woo! Oh, the Nate Shaboa. Female Wrestler of the Year, Rossi Moreno. Second year in a row there. Most Improved Company, JCP. That's remarkable considering they were number one company in the world. Independent Wrestler of the Year, we've got Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. That's the third time. Manager of the Year, El Supremo. Is that 5? That's 5. Wow. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. I think that's 5, yep. And Color Commentator of the Year, Jesse the Body Ventura, who looks a lot like Michael Hayes in that picture, one must say. Let's take a look at, let's see, first off, is the belt still around Hulk Hogan's waist? Let's take a look at that. I'm going to get there through here because then I can look on that side of it. So JCP, let's look at the roster. We'll look at Hogan, and Hogan is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Is he still defending it? How long has he held this for actually now? He is sitting here. 2 WWF title runs, his first NWA's World Heavyweight Champion. Obviously, they're not WCW. The disappearance of the World Wrestling Federation meant World Championship Wrestling never happens. It means that Ted Turner does not buy the company off Jim Crockett. So that's another interesting wrinkle that we haven't really discussed yet. But there we go. Hogan continues to do Hogan-like things. I'm back to hitting title history repeatedly, apparently. And there we are. Last wrestled against Magnum T.A. to retain the title. So Magnum's getting his shots. And it also means that Magnum's working the main event. But Hogan is a heel. Hogan's turned heel. There's an interesting piece, which means that Magnum continues to be babyface, and they will not move him off that, and that might be the better shout. I'm not sure from back in the day that, Magnum, he was definitely a babyface. So they've turned Hogan heel here and let Magnum stay babyface. So there's an interesting concept there. If we look overall at Jim Crockett, we can see that Magnum's the number 3 on the roster page here. He is the figurehead, the face of the company, but still falls beneath Piper and Hogan. According to this, Piper's the man, really, although Piper's not getting the title runs anymore. Let's take a look at the Power 500. I'm just seeing if there's any new groups that on Battle Arts. Are they new? January 96. Yes, they've literally just opened up. That's interesting. Border City Wrestling, that's January 93. I guess I missed that. Extreme Canadian Championship Wrestling, that's just launched. No one member of the roster so far. Crockett Promotions, Michinoku Pro is a few years old now. Jack Briscoe's there. Bobby Duncan's there. Two Cold Scorpio's there. NWA New Jersey is 94. Andre the Giant, still active, it looks like, in the wrestling world in some capacity. Surely he can't be working. Surely he can't be working, can he? He's getting some work in like 10-mans. Jeez. Yeah, 6-man, 8-man. That's what he's doing. That's a little bit sad to think of Andre just doing that side of it. Super World of Sports. Okay, so they're in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, of course. So where does that say Rocky Johnson? That does say Rocky Johnson. So he's retired, but he's still hanging out there. So that's, and Warrior is hanging out here. Let's take a look at Warrior for a minute, shall we? Is he doing anything? In 95, he had one match. In 94, he had no match. So yeah, Warrior's not a thing. Warrior will never be a thing. That's going to be it. He's 36. He's not going to make that jump. Really quickly, let's look at Steve Austin because he should be here at this point. Let's try this again. Quick jump there. Austin, doing well. Doing well. Let's take a look at the Power 500, shall we? So, Move over here. And Power 500. We've got Hogan number 1, Magnum number 2, Tito Santana number 3. What is this? I'm really stunned by this. 4, Roddy Piper. 5, Ric Flair. Woo! More losses than wins. Poor Rick. That's kind of what happened when Hogan showed up, isn't it? But look, I mean, the guy can still go, mostly against Steamboat, it would look like, or Magnum, or Tito. Ricky Steamboat at 6, Michael Hayes at 7, Buddy Rose at 8, defying everything. Number 9, Rick Rude, and number 10, Adrian Adonis. I'm looking for my usuals. Where's Bret Hart? We've got Tully. I think he's down from 10 to 21. Bret Hart down from 24 to 27, so he's hit a bit of a ceiling here. Hey, yo, the bad guy, down from 8 to 28. There's a glass ceiling these guys cannot get through. Best worker in the world, Randy Savage, up from 40 to 38. Decent matches, but look at who he's wrestling. It's not the same level. He can't break through to that main event. We do have one instance here of Ric Flair defeating Randy Savage, but we need more of that. He's one up on the honky tonk man, for crying out loud. Just doing a little bit of scrolling here. I'll scroll through to about 100 and see if there's anybody who jumps out at me. Kern Heddig down from 48 to 55. Kerry Von Erich up from 60 to 57. Davey Boy Smith didn't place the previous year. Having a nice run in, I think it's All Japan is where he's at. Owen Hart, again, didn't place. He's at 59. So, yeah, we've missed out the Bret and Owen feud. So what's going to happen with Owen Hart? This looks pretty good, but he might end up just being a Japanese mainstay. That might be what happens there. Dustin Rhodes. You can see down from 59 to 69. Is there anybody else worth looking at here? Dean Malenko is first placement ever on the list at 80. Jerry Lawler, former NWA's World Heavyweight Champion, just hanging out in Memphis. There's going to be limits there, and he's at 84. Shawn Michaels, another one who has not had that jump because he's hanging out in Mid-South. He's going to need to jump to the NWA, to Jim Crockett Promotions, if he really wants to get any higher up that card. Brutus Beefcake, for instance, is with Jim Crockett Promotions, I believe. And, Texas, he must be in East Coast doing something there. Not East Coast, sorry, world class. And he's at 89. And then lucky number 100 is Butch Reed. So there we are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump to 100. We're going to jump to the Great American Bash, and we'll see what that brings us here. But Great American Bash, 1996, just before the Bash or after the Bash of the Beach. Maybe we should jump to is the Bash of the Beach even a thing, actually? That's a very interesting question. I bet you it's not. I bet you it really isn't. Let's take a look. Come on, where are we at here? World Championship Wrestling. Jim Crockett Promotions. Look at this. Look at me having issues here. View profile. Events and TV. And we do not have, we have the Great American Bash, we have Starrcade. We do not have, that has not become a thing. So I can't make it. So so for the sake of argument, we're going to say the Great American Bash would be the logical place that they would pull the trigger on that event. So let's take a look at Great American Bash and see if there's some sort of NWO faction that's going to be created. I don't think there is. Let's have a look. All right, it's July. Great American Bash from Greensboro, North Carolina. Drew 21,000 fans. Star of the show, Magnum T.A. That's a positive. Roddy Piper defeated Magnum T.A. in the main event. Tito Santana beats Adrian Adonis in a dog collar match for the NWA US title. That feels very old school. Tito and Adrian Adonis, though, they're a good 9 years for Adrian. 9 years past his prime, past his high point in our prime timeline, and still look at that, like in a semi-main of a major pay-per-view. Dynamite Kid defeated Coco Beware for the World Junior Heavyweight Championship. That's a thing. Fargo's Fabulous Ones still doing their thing, defeating Stan Hansen and Ted DiBiase for the tag titles. Stan Hansen's still a thing in 1996. Rick Steiner defeated Randy Savage. Hey, it was a nice gleam of light. I mean, a great worker holding up the undercard. Wow. No Hogan that I can see, though, which is concerning. Let's have a look. Is Hogan still the man? Hogan still signed, though, so there's that. Hogan is not the champion anymore. He has dropped it. When did he drop it? Hogan held the title from March 95 to February 96. All right. So let's look and see who he dropped that to. February 96. Magnum T.A. I think it's 4 reigns now. Magnum T.A. defeated Hulk Hogan to retain the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Hogan's had a bunch of chances to get it back. But that's how I believe it makes Magnum a 4-time World Heavyweight Champion. Is Magnum the GOAT? It's a short list. Let's have a look here. Let's do only title match. So Roddy Piper defeated Magnum T.A. in a non-title match. How Starrcade is that? If you've seen the Starrcade, I think it was Starrcade, where Piper defeats Hogan but not for the belt, and we find that out after the fact. That is shocking. That Magnum had the belt since February, and yet the Great American Bash we do not put it on the line. Very interesting. Magnum defeats Hulk Hogan. Roddy Piper, Rick Steamboat. Yeah, so it's the big lot. I mean, Adrian Adonis is getting the shot. Imagine if Adrian Adonis wins this. Defeated Piper in a cage, defeated Piper. So Piper's had shots, but man, it'd be better. And look at, Piper and Magnum equals ratings. Yeah. Something we didn't talk about is for all the people who we've said are not a thing now, Kevin Nash, I have no idea where Nash is. Because the NWO should be a thing now. Bash the Beach should have happened. And you can see Nash, I don't even know if Nash has had a match in this universe. He's got all the skills. Not 96, all years. Nash has had that many matches in his career and hasn't wrestled since August 95. And before that, it was 4 years. So Nash is a non-deal now. Because of what happened, there is nowhere for Nash to go. There is no spot for him to take. So there we go. No NWO. There's no Nash. Nash was never world champion in the WWF to make the jump to WCW to start the NWO. So what's happened? The era of Southern wrestling overtakes the world. The legitimacy. So you don't need the World Championship Wrestling to be a counterpoint to WWF, because WWF and their more schlocky, cartoony version of wrestling never take over. And so what we see is we actually see the legitimate old school athletes hanging on forever, because their skill set is allowed to thrive at the biggest wrestling company in the world. So we're still the rest of JCP. We won't do all the titles this time here. We got TEW of the U.S., Starship Coyote, Ayo, Tony Falk and Tony Anthony as the 6-man. The tag team champions, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert, still doing their thing. We also see that Rick Martel and Tom Zenk have had a recurring role here. It must be a former partners of Barry Windham tag team. I'm trying to think if I'm right there. I think, no, is Ricky, were they the Can-Am Connection, Tom Zenk and Rick Martel? Maybe they're the Can-Am Connection. Yes, because Barry Windham leaves. There we are. So there we go. So the Can-Am Connection, 3-time champions, but not right now. It's Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert doing their 6th-time. And the television champion, hey, Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes having his first crack at it. He's been doing it for 13 days. So good for him. So we're going to jump ahead now, as per usual, to Starrcade and see what that brings us. All right, folks. Starrcade, 1996 from Orlando. 14,364 fans. Pretty good. It just feels like it's a downgrade from previous years. Magnum T.A. was said to have been the star of the show. I do see over here Fargo's Fabulous Ones regain the titles for 7-time champions. One of those bizarre tag teams that just developed in this world. Let's take a look at the card, though, shall we? So, Piper defeated Ric Flair. Hogan defeats Steamboat in the semi-main, which does appear to be the match of a night. Magnum T.A. defeats Tully Blanchard, third from the top. I don't see anything but the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So does Magnum still have it? Who knows? Dynamite Kid defeats Robert Gibson. Michael Hayes defeats Dustin Rhodes to retain the United States Heavyweight Championship. And Fargo's Fabulous Ones defeat Stan Hansen and Ted DiBiase for the NWA World Tag Team titles. Kind of like Stan Hansen, Ted DiBiase. That feels very old school, though, doesn't it? And 1996, I mean, if we moved, I don't know. I mean, in the real situation, DiBiase would have been knocked out with a back injury at this point. So, again, there's a positive. I've realized a massive name I have not considered. And we'll help with that in just 2 seconds. But first, we need to check out where is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Let's look at JCP, shall we? Let's look at Magnum and see, do you have the World Heavyweight Championship and just did not defend it on the biggest card of the year as your, third from the top it was? Yeah, Magnum T.A. defeated Tully Blanchard. Previously, Hulk Hogan for the World's Heavyweight Championship on a house show. Why is that not your Starrcade main event? I do not understand the way they book the big gold belt in this series. So Magnum, a 4th reign, going well into. Now, who was I talking about? I was talking about Mark Calloway. What has happened to The Undertaker in this sim? Well, he looks like this, but where's he working? NWA New Jersey on a handshake deal. He has no popularity. Again, with the contraction of the wrestling business, there was no WCW spots for Mean Mark Callis to start off with. And then as a result, he's gone nowhere else. The saving of Magnum T.A. has resulted in the death, pardon the pun, of The Undertaker, who did have a match with Sid Vicious in San Juan, Puerto Rico in May. That was his last match that we've seen. On that note, let's look at Sid. What happened to him? 35-year-old. Again, nothing going on. He's going to miss out. There's going to be a vacuum. There's going to be a vacuum in about 5 years as we approach the year 2000. The Attitude Era is off, folks. We're getting Southern wrestling the whole way through. And there's going to be a vacuum where that next generation who would take you through the new generation. Brett and Sean were kind of already in the system, so they're all right. But Warrior, Sting, Taker, Sid, Kevin Nash, all pretty much absent now. So what happens in a war where we saved one and we have doomed about a half dozen? Steve Austin, we're hoping he'll get there. Mick Foley looked okay. We'll look at him in January. But what are the ripple effects of the decision that we made? The future, the past, does not want to be changed. Let's jump ahead, and we'll end this episode by looking at the start of 1997. All right, it's 1997, and we've had a facelift on the news again. It's not as easy to see, I think, to represent the internet as it was in 1997. I don't think this is user-friendly, though. I appreciate the authenticity, but man, it hurts my eyes. That red and white at the top, that looks like Raja.com, which is where I used to get all my my early wrestling information. And spend a great deal of time in the forums, actually, over there. Let's take a look. Wrestler of the Year 1997. It's Magnum T.A. Is he still the world's heavyweight champion? Don't know. We'll find out. Company of the Year, JCP in it. JCP, Team of the Year, Can-Am Connection. First time I've landed the trophy in this era. Rick Martel doesn't have a lull. He just keeps working all the way through in this universe. Match of the Year, Hulk Hogan defeating Magnum T.A. on a house show. Show of the Year, Great American Bash. Yeah, it felt better than Starrcade. Young Wrestler of the Year went to Mauna Kea Mossman. Not really familiar with his work. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Ricky Steamboat. Looking tough as we've gone way over where he would have exited in the prime timeline. Female Wrestler of the Year, Lioness Asuka, back up there. Most Improved Company, Mid-South, again. Independent Wrestler of the Year. This one is Shigusho Nagayo. Manager of the Year, El Supremo for the 6th time. That should mean Jim Ross wins this again. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. Color Commentator of the Year, Jesse the Body. So there we go. Really interesting how the world is not changing, I suppose. JCP signed graduate. Who's this? Horseshoe. Well, there you go. DDT has just begun as a wrestling company. And anything else interesting going on here? Mike Bennett. Must be a different Mike Bennett, surely. All right, let's take a look and see where we're at. JCP is here. Eastern Championship Wrestling should be Extreme by now, but that doesn't happen because Pat Patterson's the booker in this universe, so they never make that switch. Just out of curiosity, I thought I'd go over here. We'll come back to them. JCP, here we are. Just taking a quick look down the side here. Tito Santana's still kicking, but our big five. I mean, if you don't have the 4 pillars, it's Roddy, it's Hulk, it's Magnum, it's Tito. It's not Ric Flair anymore. In fact, on our list of key personnel, Ric Flair is not even listed in comparison to Rick Martel. Wow. That is interesting. Let's do Rick Rude. I'm just looking down the left here to see if there's, on the right side, sorry, to see if there's anybody else here I should be aware of. Ted DiBiase. Randy Savage way down the list. Oh, not who I wanted to be looking at, but that's okay. Ron Bass still wrestling. Sam Houston still wrestling. Rick Steiner's over here. Scott Steiner. Whatever happened to that guy? Sika. Eddie, is he a very young Eddie Guerrero? Eddie Guerrero's 29. He's in JCP. He made it. Okay, so he's made his way to the big time. Now, what happens in the next few years is going to be on him for Latino Heat. I mean, he's got 2004's WrestleMania 20. So he's got 7 years to make it to main event caliber talent. He's only been hired by JCP for about a month. Oh, he divorces. 93. I don't know Eddie Guerrero's personal life. I think I'm quite glad about that. Well enough to know if he was married to Vicky all the way back then. How old's Dominic? Is Dominic older than 27? No, there's no way. 29 he'd be. Oh, shoot. Okay, it's possible that Eddie had a first marriage. I don't know. All right, but what am I doing this for? I want to be looking for Magnum T.A. Quick jump over there. He's not the champion. He has dropped the belt. Place your bets. Odds-on favorite, Hogan. Most surprising, Tito. Let's take a look here, shall we? Championship history. Well, obviously it was in December. So we can just go to match history. And we can look at this here. Roddy Piper, that would have been for the championship. Roddy Piper defeated Magnum T.A., Ric Flair, and Ricky Steamboat for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So we lost in a fatal 4-way. Oh, that's rough, isn't it? That's really rough. But Piper gets, is this reign number 2 or reign number 3 for him? Let's take a look on that one. So Magnum's had, is it 4? Magnum's had 4 runs, and 2 of them considerable in length. One that was 11 months and one that was a good 10 months. So he's done okay. Let's take a look at Roddy Piper, which I got to admit, I mean, if he's got to lose it. I mean, 42-year-old Roddy Piper, I mean, he's not the greatest worker necessarily. He's very good, but he's not what some of these other ones are, but he knows psychology. And popular. I mean, look at that popularity in the U.S. Okay, look at the popularity. They don't tour overseas, but if you did, let me look at Canada. I mean, the guy is, he's all right. He's all right. Is he working heel? It doesn't say on this screen. I can find out from the previous screen. That's okay. Has he been defending it? Let's take a look. Roddy Piper defeated Tommy Rich to retain the end. Tommy Rich, if that's where we're going with this. Jeez, I mean, so the belt gets defended on Christmas Star Wars with World Class. I mean, good for them. But on that note, let's take a look around, shall we? Look at all the titles. Michael Hayes is the U.S. heavyweight champion for the second time. The six-man tag, Starship Coyote, Ayo, Tony Falk and Tony Anthony. The seven-time champions of the world for tag team, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. And the world television champ, I got to take it out for future ones, but let's just pretend again. Tommy Ricchetti is a television champion. Let's go to Mid-South next. Mid-South, number 2 company in the world, absolutely. Titles over here. I mean, let's look at Tatsumi Fujinami is over here. That's actually quite interesting. He could, and he's making up some popularity in the U.S. I mean, he could be a really big deal over here. Stan Lane, Dusty Rhodes. Surely Dusty Rhodes is retired by this point. Surely. Retired. Okay, good. Kerry Von Erich, Butch Reed. Where's Bret Hart? Shawn Michaels way down the list. Oh, I wonder if the boyhood dream is past. The boyhood dream would have been March 96. So Michael's severely behind. Oh, Bret Hart, major star. So where's Bret? Was Bret never top? Oh, Bret number 3. There we are. Look at the titles here. He-Man still the North American champion. Mattel, furious about their intellectual property. Mid-South tag team, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, the U.S. Express, living the dream. Television champion, Kerry Von Erich. Good for him. Let's look at All Japan, who I believe should be number 3 in the world. Hey, they are. I'm just looking at the roster. Again, we've got Owen Hart, Giant Baba. I don't see Davey Boy Smith anymore. Where's Davey Boy gone? No. I'm a big Davey Boy Smith fan. That is a shame. Let's look at the titles. The current champion is Fishman. That's a global champion. The junior heavyweight is Mando Guerrero. National tag, Moscow de la Merced and Ben Basrab. Still don't know how to say that. And not there. So I really want to find out where he is. Let's go to, have I looked at World Class? I don't think I've looked at World Class yet. Bruiser Brody, Brutus Briefcake. I said Bruiser Brody. We've saved lives here. Look at this. Kerry Von Erich, Kevin Von Erich, Jerry Lawler. I mean, this is the 1980s Fed, isn't it? Tommy Rich, Brad Armstrong, Jake Roberts. Look how far low. Jake Roberts, former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Jake Roberts. Wrestling skills may be in decline, but he's the American Heavyweight Champion according to this. What else do we see here? So Jake Roberts, the tag team belts are Eric Elkanick and Terry Taylor, who avoids the Red Rooster gimmick as a result of our interference. Kendall Windham, Texas Heavyweight, Steve Kern, the Skinner. He avoided that title. Jimmy Golden. And the 6-man champions there, as you can see. Taking a look here. Is there anything else I want to be looking at? Oh, NWA New Jersey. Jerry Jarrett. Where's Jeff Jarrett? There's another one. Wow. Sting. Look at all the way down the list here. Sting, Mark Calloway. Oh, let's look at the titles, shall we? Just out of curiosity. Vacant global champion. Vacant knockouts champion. Oh, they're all vacant. They're all vacant. Do you actually have any shows or events? Events and TV. Here we are. Nothing. Well, if you don't run shows, it's going to be problematic. Let's take a quick look here and see if we can't find Let's go to Eastern Championship Wrestling first, and then we'll move on. So currently the 7th in the world. I think they've been there for a while. Let's look at the titles, and we've got Steve Dahl as the World Heavyweight Champion. The tag team belts are vacant now, and the television champion, Road Warrior Hawk, who is their biggest star. Well, I got like a catch in my throat when I went to start the well. Look, they got some Magnum T.A. signs of ECW. Oh, one night only deal. Wow, they're getting some love over here. But let's look here. We've got Cactus Jack is up there. He's not listed on their key personnel thing yet, but he should. I mean, he's gaining. Oh, his popularity. It's weak, Mick. I love you, Mick. I hope you get to make a thing for yourself in this universe. If not, I apologize. I am sorry. But Tonga Kid, not so kiddie anymore. Man, that's Sting. Man called Sting. I mean, this Sting's what? Sting's 37, and he's had like no matches. There's this year, I mean, ECW getting into his 40s. I mean, at least he's got something going on. Let's find Jeff Jarrett. Where's he at? Shall we? Jeff Jarrett. 29. Working for, of course, he's working for World Class. Not very popular, as we can see, but his training is just fine. Match history, is he getting any matches? He is. Yeah, it's starting to get up towards the 40s, I guess. He's got some time. Before he needs to develop some stroke. Let's look at the PWF 500 on the way out the door today, shall we? Let's take a look here. Oh, I hate this new screen. I'll look at the Hall of the Mortals as well on the way out. Number 1, Magnum T.A. Number 2, Ricky Steamboat. Wow, things have worked out okay for him since coming back to the NWA. Number 3, Hulk Hogan. Number 4, well, they got Hogan looking heel there. Is Hogan heel? I'll take a look. Number 4, Ric Flair. Oh, he's starting to look old, bless him. Number 5, Roddy Piper. 6, Rick Rude. 7, Adrian Adonis. Wow, still. How old is this guy? 42. He's got a couple years left in him before he's going to disintegrate. Move down. Devolve. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here. Decline. That's what I'm looking for. Decline. Deteriorate. There we go. Those are the words I'm looking for. Disintegrate. Michael Hayes. Fabulous Freebird. He's got to be, I don't need his 37. Wow. I think I had him much older than he is. Tito Santana at 9. Grand Apache at 10. Up from 18. He's doing all right. Who's he? Oh, he's over in All Japan. Rick Martel at 12. A legitimate draw, maybe. Tom Zenk at 13. That Can-Am connection. Canadians and Americans coming together for a better future. Dynamite Kid at 14. Wow. Rick Steiner at 15. Where's Scott? I need to check on that. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. Steve Mongo McMichael at 18. Jeez, he got in here. NWA on tour. He's made his way there. Tully's at 23. Sam Houston, a much bigger star in this universe. Eddie Gilbert, another life saved, I think. Bret Hart, 35. He's good. I don't think anyone's going to give him a shot at the big belt. I don't think. Can I bring up, have you had any shots at the big belt? No, North American. He's at a crazy feud going on with He-Man. I'm looking to see if he's ever, no, it's all Mid-South specific stuff. He's never had a shot at the big gold belt. Well, hopefully there's a shot at that, because I don't think he's ever held a title. Not outside of Stampede, anyway. No, he hasn't. So Brett, beltless Brett. Don't think there's to check out there. Scott Hall, hey yo, doing okay. Ted DiBiase 38. Probably should check in on what the deal is with Steve Austin. Randy Savage, down from 38 to 44. Yeah, he's never going to be that guy. He's what, 43 now? 44. He's never going to be that guy. I don't think. Prediction: Randy Savage will never be a world champion, and that makes me a little bit sad. Owen Hart up from 59 to 46. Very good matches in Japan. Can he catch on with JCP and get opportunity is the question. Davey Boy Smith, where are you working? He's down. Oh, he's up 2 spots. He is currently working for Joint Promotions in the UK. Okay, on a written deal. Maybe he's their champion. Maybe, although it doesn't look like it based on his match history here. Larry Sabisco at 60. Honky Tonk Man at 65. Shawn Michaels at 73. And just needs to... He's doing fine in Mid-South. I think he just needs to jump up and he just needs to be exposed to better individuals and a hotter product so people appreciate what he's doing more. And as we go towards there, 87, I see Jerry Lawler. 85, I see Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. And number 100, Road Warrior Hawk, ECW headliner currently. So there we go. So there's our top 100. I forget. I know that. Oh, I want to check out where Steve Austin was. That was it. So let's take a look at Steve Austin, shall we? No, I don't want to do that. Let's take a look at Steve Austin, please. There we are. Steve Austin it doesn't say what he's rated. Hopefully, maybe if I go into his profile, it'll say he's rated. No, it doesn't. Okay, that's a shame. Let's take a look at his match history lately and see. I mean, his popularity sucks. He had 2 matches in 96. That's not going to help. He's with Brian Pillman, big time independent wrestling. Who? A world without Steve Austin. That's hard to believe. What have I done? Oh, you have to have opportunity, and the business is in decline, and there we go. Magnum T.A. is on top. Theoretically, he's been a world champion this year. He's been, or at least this episode, he's been number 1 in the world, but at what cost? And it's great cost, actually. So this is where we leave things in 1997. Magnum is he the other side of 40? No, he's still 37. So we still have a few more episodes left with Magnum. How high will he climb? What will he be? Is he the GOAT? I think the list is pretty short now. I think the list has got to be Magnum, Hogan, Flair, Piper, arguably in the list. I think that's your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. I've been saying 4 pillars. That's your Mount Rushmore. I'll be very curious as we move on. Is Flair on the decline in 1997? Is this as far as his road goes? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. If I just jump back to the Power 500 super quick, I'll take a look and see that we know Magnum is 37. Ricky Steamboat, who I'm really surprised on this list, is 43. Hogan is 43. Flair's 47. Yeah, Flair's 47. Piper's 42. Okay. So we've got a bunch of guys in their 40s here. Adrian Adonis is 42. So the top of the card is guys in their 40s, and they've been here for a while, all things being equal. We've cut out that next generation up. That should mean the generation following might have a chance. I see Brett, I see Sean having opportunities. I'm not sure Austin got a chance to get his foot in the door to be trained up. Mick Foley maybe will have opportunities. Undertaker, we have erased from existence pretty much. And I think his time will actually pass him by. So where is this spinning world, this darkest timeline, the ripples? Where will they lead us as we start to move really? I mean, this is Attitude Era now. We're in 97. Now, Attitude Era without an Attitude Era. Southern wrestling is still a thing in the 40s. Sorry, still a thing with a bunch of 40-year-old guys mainly wrestling a Southern style. Does that change? Does anybody decide to take on JCP for that role? And will the big gold belt be defended at Starrcade ever again? I don't know. But check us out next episode. Let us know in the comments, what's the next what if? I went through and did about 15 of them on my phone with some notes the other day. Last night, in fact. What should be the next what if after this is over? We'll run with Magnum until he retires from regular competition. But what should occur? Maybe something a bit more modern. Maybe we should go in the future and see what things going on there. Let me know in the comments. Outside of that, this has been the Smart Mark Time Machine Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Except for Dusty, Dustin, Cody. We'll catch you on the flippity flap.